5 animals generate $4,500 a month in profit without a barn, without daily feeding, and without the infrastructure most people assume livestock income requires. This is not farming, this is flipping. Buying animals at one price point, holding them briefly while their value increases through age, timing, or market positioning, and selling them at a higher price point into a buyer network built before the first animal was ever purchased. The margin is in the timing, not the infrastructure. Each animal on this list is held on leased pasture, at a partner's property, or for a hold period so short that feeding cost is negligible. No barn, no daily chores, no permanent setup. The flipper's role is sourcing, transport, and buyer relationships, not animal husbandry. This video covers all 5 animals, the exact buy and sell prices, the hold periods, and the specific logistics that make the model work. The 4th animal carries the widest margin per flip. Feeder calves sell at livestock auctions for $300 to $600, depending on season, weight, breed, and regional market conditions. The same calves are resold 4 to 8 weeks later through direct buyer channels or at the next seasonal price uptick, and they bring $500 to $900. The margin per head runs $200 to $400, and the flipper never builds a single fence post. Seasonal cattle pricing follows predictable cycles that experienced traders have leveraged for generations. In spring, flooding of weaned calves from cow-calf operations depresses auction prices. Fall demand from feedlot operators and small acreage buyers looking to stock pasture before winter raises prices. The buy window is spring. The sell window is late summer through fall. The hold period between the two is managed on leased pasture at $25 to $50 per head per month, or through a landowner partnership where the calves graze unused ground in exchange for a share of the margin. The calves feed themselves on grass. No barn, no daily grain delivery, no infrastructure beyond a fence the landowner already maintains. 5 to 10 calves flipped per month, at $200 to $400 margin each, generates $1,000 to $4,000 from a single species. The flipper's job is sourcing, transport, and buyer relationships. A truck with a livestock trailer and a list of direct buyers is the complete equipment requirement. Auction houses, Facebook livestock groups, and local cattlemen's associations are the sourcing channels. Small acreage buyers, 4-H families, and feedlot operators are the sell side. A young purebred meat or show rabbit purchased at 8 weeks old costs $15 to $40. That same rabbit sold as a confirmed breeding-ready animal at 4 to 5 months old brings $75 to $200, depending on breed and pedigree. The hold period is 2 to 3 months. The feed cost during that entire hold is $5 to $15 per animal. The margin per flip runs $35 to $160 from an animal that lives in a simple outdoor hutch or wire cage, requiring less than 4 square feet of space. Popular meat breeds like New Zealand White and Californian flip through homesteader networks and small farm buyer groups. Show and pet breeds like Holland Lop and Mini Rex flip through 4-H families, hobby breeders, and pet buyers at the higher end of the price range. The value increase is driven entirely by age and breeding readiness. Buyers pay a premium for animals old enough to breed or show immediately, rather than waiting months for a kit to mature. The flipper buys the time that the buyer does not want to spend. Sourcing is straightforward. Production breeders selling full litters at volume discounts, Craigslist, Facebook livestock groups, and local breeders moving surplus stock are all consistent sources at the low end of the price range. Selling happens through Facebook Marketplace, homesteading groups, feed store bulletin boards, and local swap meets. 15 to 20 rabbits flipped per month, at an average margin of $50 to $100 each, generate $500 to $2,000 per month from animals that require no barn, no pasture, and a total feed investment that would not cover a single bag of dog food. Nigerian Dwarf goat kids flood the market every spring. Breeders with too many kids from seasonal kidding sell unregistered dolings for $75 to $150, simply to move them before feed costs and management burden accumulate. Those same animals, when sold 8 to 12 weeks later as weaned, handled, and socialized stock through direct buyer channels, bring $250 to $500 depending on registration status and buyer demand. The value increase is driven by 3 factors the flipper provides without any infrastructure. Weaning, so the buyer does not need to bottle feed. Handling and socialization, so the animal is family-friendly on arrival. And registration paperwork completed through the breed registry at a cost of $5 to $15 per animal. Each factor adds measurable value that the buyer willingly pays for because it eliminates weeks of work they would otherwise do themselves. The hold period logistics are the cleanest on this list. The flipper can arrange to leave kids on the breeder's property until weaning is complete for a small boarding fee or a margin split arrangement. The kids nurse on the doe during most of the hold period. No barn, no bottle feeding, no daily management by the flipper. The breeder handles the care. The flipper handles the sale. Sell channels run through hobby farm buyer groups, pet goat communities, small dairy startups, and Facebook Marketplace, where demand for friendly, handled Nigerian Dwarf does is consistent and strong. Margin per kid runs $100 to $350. Flipping 5 to 10 kids per month during kidding season generates $500 to $3,500 from an animal the flipper may never house on their own property. A day-old chick from a hatchery costs $3 to $5. A started pullet at 16 to 20 weeks old, ready to lay within days of purchase, sells for $25 to $45 each. The margin is 5 to 10 times the input cost. That multiplier exists because of a supply gap so wide that most people in the backyard chicken market have never had the option filled for them locally. Most backyard chicken buyers want eggs immediately. They do not want to raise chicks under a heat lamp for 4 weeks, transition them outdoors, wait another 3 months for maturity, and hope the birds they bought are actually hens. Started pullets eliminate every one of those uncertainties. The buyer gets a healthy hen that lays within the first week of arrival. Hatcheries sell chicks. Feed stores sell chicks. Almost no one locally sells started pullets ready to lay. The flipper fills that gap. Hold. Period runs from 16 to 20 weeks. Chicks spend the first 4 weeks under a heat lamp in a simple brooder setup, no barn required, then move to outdoor ranging on any patch of ground with basic predator protection. Total feed cost per bird from day-old chick to point of lay runs $8 to $15. Combined input per bird, including chick purchase and feed, is $11 to $20. Sell price is $25 to $45. Margin per bird is $14 to $25. Volume is where this species dominates the list. 50 to 100 pullets per batch, with 2 to 3 batches overlapping at different growth stages, create continuous inventory that turns over monthly. 100 pullets flipped per month, at an average margin of $15 to $20 each, generates $1,500 to $2,000 from a single species. Demand peaks in spring, but remains strong year-round from backyard flock owners replacing aging hens, expanding existing flocks, or starting their first flock after moving to a property with space. A livestock guardian dog puppy from a working farm litter sells for $300 to $600. That same dog at 6 to 12 months old with documented livestock exposure and basic socialization around poultry, goats, or sheep sells for $800 to $2,000 to farms and homesteads actively losing animals to predators and desperate for a functional guardian. The value increase driver is not professional training, it is exposure and age. A puppy that has spent 6 months living alongside a flock, sleeping in the pasture, and developing the protective instincts the breed was selected for over centuries is worth dramatically more than an untested 8-week-old pup that may or may not bond with livestock. The flipper does not need to be a dog trainer. Placing a pup with a cooperating farmer's flock for 4 to 6 months accomplishes the exposure. The partner farm provides the livestock, the space, and the daily environment. Feed cost is shared or covered as part of the arrangement. The flipper provides the puppy and handles the sale. Common breeds move quickly in rural markets. Great Pyrenees, Anatolian Shepherd, and Maremma are the three most sought-after guardian breeds. Demand from poultry operations, goat dairies, and sheep farms dealing with coyote, fox, and feral dog predation is consistent and growing as small farm livestock ownership increases nationally. Sourcing comes from working farm litters, breed-specific rescues, and rural classifieds where puppies are priced at the lower end because the seller has more pups than they need. Selling happens through homesteading groups, farm supply bulletin boards, and breed networks where buyers actively search for started dogs and pay accordingly. Margins per dog range from $200 to $1,400. 2 to 4 dogs flipped per month generate $400 to $5,600 from animals that never lived on the flipper's property for a single day. The flipping model works across all 5 animals because the same 3 mechanics apply to every one of them. Buy at the right moment. Add value through time, age, or exposure. Sell into a buyer network built before the animal was ever purchased. The third mechanic is the one that separates flippers who profit from those who get stuck holding inventory they cannot move. Sourcing follows predictable patterns across all 5 species. Auctions, breeders selling volume at a discount, seasonal oversupply windows, Facebook livestock groups, Craigslist farm sections, and rural classifieds. The best buy prices consistently come from sellers who need animals moved quickly. Too many kids from spring kidding. Too many chicks from a hatch. A litter of livestock guardian dog pups on a working farm that only needs one. The motivated seller's urgency is the flipper's margin. Timing is species-specific but equally predictable. Spring oversupply drives buy prices down for calves, goat kids, and chicks. Fall and winter demand drives sell prices up. Rabbits and livestock guardian dog pups move year-round with less seasonal variation. Learning the pricing cycle for each species is the core skill, and it takes one season of observation to internalize. The buyer network must exist before the first purchase. Facebook Marketplace, homesteading groups, local feed store bulletin boards, breed registries, 4-H networks, and direct relationships with repeat buyers form the sell-side infrastructure. A flipper who buys 10 animals without knowing who will purchase them is speculating. A flipper who has 5 interested buyers before placing the order is operating a business. The distinction determines profitability. No barn is required for any species on this list. Leased pasture covers calves. Breeder hold arrangements cover goat kids. Outdoor ranging covers pullets. Partner farms cover livestock guardian dog pups. Simple wire hutches cover rabbits. Transport is a livestock trailer or a large crate in a truck bed. The flipper is a broker who adds value through timing and logistics, not a farmer who builds infrastructure. Animal flipping is not risk-free. The margins are real, but so are the ways people lose money doing it. Health risk is the most common source of loss. Buying sick, parasitized, or stressed animals that die or lose condition during the hold period turns a profitable flip into a direct loss. Mitigation is learnable. Body condition scoring, checking eyes and coat, observing gait and energy, and buying from known sources rather than unknown auction lots eliminates the majority of health-related losses within the first season of experience. Market risk follows close behind. Buying animals without a buyer lined up creates holding costs that accumulate fast and compress margins to zero. Feed, pasture lease, and management time erode profit every day an animal sits unsold. The operational rule that protects every flip is this: never buy what you cannot sell within the planned hold window. Legal considerations matter at scale. Many states require livestock dealer licenses above certain volume or dollar thresholds. Brand inspection and health certificates are required for cattle transactions in most states. Check state agriculture department requirements before scaling past casual volume. Ignoring licensing creates legal exposure that no margin justifies. Basic livestock liability coverage is available and inexpensive. Animals in transport, on leased land, or interacting with other livestock carry injury and property damage risk that a simple policy addresses. Common mistakes compound quickly. Overpaying at auction due to inexperience. Underestimating feed and transport costs during hold periods. Saturating a small local market with too many animals of the same species in the same month. Neglecting to build buyer relationships before purchasing inventory. Reputation is the final variable. The flipping community is small and connected. Selling sick, misrepresented, or poorly handled animals destroys a seller's credibility permanently and closes buyer networks that took months to build. Month 1. Pick 2 of the 5 animals. Build the buyer network first. Join local Facebook livestock groups, visit feed stores, and attend one auction to observe pricing. Line up 5 to 10 potential buyers before purchasing a single animal. Week 3, source the first batch. 10 rabbits and 25 chicks is a low-risk starting combination. Total investment is $200 to $400. Month 2, first rabbit flips land, and pullets are growing toward point of lay. Month 3, add a goat kid or a calf flip if pasture access is available. Month 4, flip multiple species simultaneously. The $4,500 target broken down across species: 10 rabbits at $500 to $1,500, 50 pullets at $700 to $1,250, 5 goat kids at $500 to $1,750, 2 livestock guardian dog pups at $400 to $2,800, and 2 calves at $400 to $800. Combined midpoint, $4,500 per month. No barn, no daily feeding. 5 animals, a truck, and a phone. Subscribe for more livestock income strategies. Comment which animal you would flip first.